Welcome back to the Datsun 280z teardown. Late 2018 and early 2019 threw some curveballs my way, so trying to get back and narrate the footage and get this out. So today we're actually tearing out the rear end. So getting the lights out, trying to figure out the wiring, a whole bunch of different things. So we'll kind of go through it here. Going through all of the lights right now. As you can see in some of those pictures that just popped up, lots of different bulb connectors and wires in the back end. You got to figure out how to loosen them, remove them, unclamp them, etc. And it's just a time-intensive process. And I can't reiterate this enough. Label everything. I think I've labeled every single connector. And got some pictures of where things are supposed to plug back in. I'm not going to reuse the wiring harness. I'm going to probably make one myself, but just knowing where everything goes and being able to trace it back so I can cut the wire hopefully a little easier to the right length and not have that be a process that just takes forever. So I started working on the gas cap there, just trying to figure out how to disconnect the different plates and the tubes and everything, as I know the drop in the gas tank is coming up, and trying to figure some of that out. As we go through this, I start working on pulling the wire out. So here we can see I disconnected the line to the antenna, and it's kind of routed through some hard to access areas. And you don't want to just pull it out, because the wheel arch on the inside almost creates like a little clamp. So if you just try to pull it, you might just wedge it in there and you won't be able to get it out. So I ended up feeding some line through so I could pull it out and try to guide it a little bit better, and keep it from essentially getting pinched in that panel where you can't really get to it. Pulling out the power antenna, it never worked, the power part at least, and it was just a real pain trying to figure out how in the world to not only get the exterior antenna disconnected, but also get the motor mechanism out. Some awkward bolt placement, just kind of made it a real pain. So here I started moving on to kind of the hatch seals and some of the little rubber stops that are in the little water tray, or whatever you want to call it, the rain channel. And whatever they used to secure this was not wanting to come off, so I ended up having to go along the whole outside with like a flathead screwdriver and break that seal the entire way around. So not a big deal, just again a little time intensive. There I just removed the map light in the interior, and there's a picture right there. So again, I can figure out how to wire that up in the future. I'm sure everyone has this, but the actual cover for the map light just disintegrated when you touched it. It was styrofoam is more solid than that was. It literally crumbled. Here I'm back to the gas lines and trying to figure out how in the world everything is routed, into the kind of that rear part of the car, and then down below to the gas tank, and trying to figure out what the best way to remove those lines and clamps are. And you can see there I pulled out the rear return signal. Fast forward a couple months to November 2018, and I finally had time to get to the gas tank. Around this time I changed jobs, and so that is why there was a couple month break there. But things were going good at this point. Trying to take the clamps off from the hoses to the gas tank wasn't too bad, but a bunch of the screws were rusted. Not beyond getting out, but enough to make it an inconvenience. Here I'm trying to figure out how the gas nozzle on the outside of the car gets channeled down into the gas tank, removing the rubber tube that kind of connects that to the gas filler cap and that nozzle to the gas tank. Realized there were all of the gas lines that were coming in from the rear of the car were going to be up top, so I loosened it as much as I could without dropping it. because I didn't want to pull those hoses out or break any lines. But I ended up having to drop it out anyway. There's just almost no working area to get to that. And once I dropped that, I ended up cutting a lot of those lines. They had to be replaced anyway, and just couldn't really get to the clamps easily. So that wraps up this episode, and look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.